The VAR audio from one of the most controversial moments of Celtic's title-winning season has just been released, and it settles the debate once and for all. We've also got a major winger transfer update, a fresh Kieran Tierney injury concern just weeks before the World Cup, and the Green Brigade firing a warning shot at the Celtic board on the final day of the season ticket renewal window. Let's get into it, but first make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Celtic's title-winning penalty at Motherwell on the 13th of May has been one of the most talked about moments of the entire Scottish football season. Now, weeks later, Sky Sports have released the full VAR audio from that decision, and it makes for fascinating listening. To set the scene, Celtic needed that win to keep their title hopes alive. Referee John Beaton initially waved play on after a handball claim inside the Motherwell box. VAR Andrew Dallas and his assistant Sean Carr then reviewed the incident from multiple angles, while communication issues briefly left Beaton unable to hear the VAR team at all. But once the link was restored, the conversation in the VAR room was crystal clear. Dallas confirmed contact with the arm, Carr agreed, and both felt the arm was in an unnatural position above shoulder height. Dallas said to Beaton, "Definitely hits the arm, we'll pause it on point of contact." Beaton then confirmed to the VAR team, "Penalty kick, I'm awarding a penalty kick, no sanction," before Dallas confirmed the decision. There was no doubt, no hesitation, and no disagreement inside the VAR room. Every official involved looked at the same footage and reached the same conclusion. The decision was correct. Sam Nicholson of Motherwell has separately claimed he can categorically say his arm was not in an unnatural position, but the audio from the officials themselves tells a very different story. The VAR team had multiple angles, paused on the point of contact, and were unanimous. Celtic scored from the spot, went on to win the game, and ultimately won the title on the final day. For anyone who still had doubts about that penalty, the audio puts the matter to rest. Now for the main story, as Celtic face a significant hurdle in their pursuit of Faz Gedgemes, with fresh reports from Italy suggesting the Frosinone winger will not come cheap this summer. Gedgemes had an outstanding season in Serie B, scoring 15 goals as Frosinone earned promotion back to Serie A. That form has kept Celtic's interest alive after a January window in which the club were previously linked with an attempt to sign him. Celtic News understands the interest from Parkhead has not gone away. However, according to Italian outlet Tutto Mercato Web, Frosinone are in a strong position when it comes to negotiations. Having just won promotion, the club have no financial pressure to sell, and they view Gedgemes as one of the key figures in their squad ahead of life back in the top flight. The report states that any club hoping to take him away this summer would need to make what is described as an irresistible offer. The valuation being discussed is around £13 million, a figure that would place him among the most expensive signings in Celtic's history. At 24, Gedgemes fits the profile of the type of wide player Celtic need. He scores goals from out wide, he is in his prime years, and he has just delivered the most productive campaign of his career. In other news, there is a fresh injury concern surrounding Kieran Tierney this evening after the Celtic left-back was absent from Scotland's training session at Leatherhampton today, just one day before a warm-up friendly against Curaçao. Tierney picked up an ankle knock during last weekend's Scottish Cup final win over Dunfermline. Martin O'Neill played down the severity at the time, and the player did link up with the Scotland squad as planned. But his absence from today's open training session has naturally raised questions given how little time remains before the World Cup. Scotland kick off their campaign against Haiti on the 14th of June, followed by group matches against Morocco and Brazil. With the tournament just over 2 weeks away, every training session between now and then matters. There is no indication at this stage that Tierney is facing a lengthy absence. The hope at both Celtic and with Scotland will be that this is simply a precaution, and that he will be involved against Curaçao on Saturday in some capacity. On a more positive note, Anthony Ralston was fully involved in training today and looks set to be part of Steve Clarke's plans heading into the tournament. But Tierney's injury record over his career means Celtic supporters will always feel a sense of anxiety when his name appears in any kind of fitness bulletin. He was brilliant during the title run-in, and his importance to Celtic next season, particularly with Champions League football ahead, cannot be overstated. The club will be watching his fitness situation very closely over the coming weeks. In other news, the Green Brigade have fired a warning shot at the Celtic board this evening, claiming that two of their members have been prevented from renewing their season tickets on the final day of the renewal window, pending a disciplinary process. The supporters group says the allegations relate to an incident at Celtic's AGM more than 6 months ago involving a conversation with Mark Hargreaves. They argue the timing is deeply suspicious, with the two members only being informed about the issue less than 24 hours before today's renewal deadline. The North Curve issued a statement this evening saying, after an unjustified 5-month and 32-match ban, 250 supporters returned to Celtic matches for the final 6 weeks of the season. It was clear and acknowledged from players to manager that the subsequent change in atmosphere was pivotal in inspiring the team to an unlikely and unforgettable double. It is therefore frustrating that the Celtic board is reverting to type, now that the season has finished, to ban Green Brigade members over vexatious allegations we believe to have been settled weeks ago. The statement named Michael Nicholson, Chris McKay, and Mark Hargreaves as those responsible, and warned that this approach risks undoing the unity that was spoken about so openly by Martin O'Neill and Brian Wilson during the title run-in. This is a genuinely sensitive situation. The atmosphere created when those 250 fans returned to Celtic Park was clearly a factor in the run to the double. The players referenced it, the manager referenced it, and supporters across the ground felt the difference. Damaging that relationship again so soon after it was repaired would be a serious mistake by the board. The timing of this on the final day of the renewal window will not be lost on anyone. Lastly, Kieran Tierney is not the only Celtic player being monitored for fitness concerns ahead of the World Cup, with a separate update emerging on the wider Scotland squad situation today. Anthony Ralston's involvement in training today was a welcome positive. The right-back has been a reliable presence in Steve Clarke's squad and looks set to play his part in the tournament. His consistency at club level this season has been rewarded with a strong international profile, and Celtic supporters will be pleased to see him in good shape heading into the summer. Scotland face a tough group. Haiti on the 14th of June is the opener before Morocco and Brazil complete the group stage fixtures. It is a huge stage for any Celtic player involved, and the exposure that comes with World Cup football only adds to the club's profile as they prepare for a summer of recruitment. For Celtic, having multiple players involved at a World Cup is a mark of where the club currently sits in the football landscape. Tierney and Ralston flying the flag for Scotland, Daisen Maeda representing Japan, and others scattered across international squads around the globe. The club has quality. What it needs now is the right manager to build on it. That's all the latest Celtic news for today. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a comment below with your thoughts. I'll see you in the next one.